Yo, this archetype is busted. Look, even Marty thinks that the archetype is busted. Marty, tell him, isn't the archetype busted? It's tier 1, right? Yo, he blinked, so you know it's amazing. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day is going phenomenal, but if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting archetype from the new Darkwing Blast set that is to come out in October. The Byssted archetype seems to be a continuation of the branded Albaz, Despia, Dogmatica, Sword Soul, Springens entire lore. This actually not only improves or could potentially improve the Despia theme, but it also gives avenues to chaos archetypes in Dragon decks alike. So yes, I think that this strategy is busted. Let's go ahead and jump on in so we can talk about this Byssted theme. This is actually the new Albaz branded story meeting its inevitable dragon support. Now, there is one card that came out in Dimension Force that immediately pops into my head. Alba Los allows you to contact fusion, send all dragon monsters and a fallen Albaz to the graveyard to be able to summon this card. And this actually would be really good against the Byssted theme, as it is a dragon-based deck, but also can be played inside of the Byssted theme to be able to end games quickly, because if I remember correctly, Alba Los can attack multiple times depending on the number of dragon monsters used, and some of these Byssted monsters will even grant you additional effects. Let's go ahead and jump on in. We're going to talk about the Byssted Magnumut. And one thing to talk about the Byssted monsters is that the first three all have the same first effect, so I'm only going to go over it once and then talk about its strengths and weaknesses. Byssted Magnumut is a level 6 Dragon Dark, 2500 attack, 22,000 defense, which is pretty much the first three. And the cool thing about this is that it gives me Light Pulsar Dark Flare Dragon vibes. But what the first effect does is that you can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard. That's ridiculous. Banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. This is a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. So there are a couple of things that I want to break down. First of all, let's break down the strengths. It's a walking DD Crow, just getting rid of your opponent's cards. They're light and dark important monsters. This is literally not only a chaos card, being able to banish chaos cards or maybe even monsters like Thunder Dragon from your graveyard to trigger their effects. It also will summon itself to the side of the field and give you a free monster. This is also good against if your opponent wants to use Branded in red. They use Branded in red and they have a monster in the field. Well, this card is a quick effect, so you can go ahead and banish the monster that they target with Branded in red, summon Byssted to your side of the field. Their Branded where will fizzle with no effect, and you get a 2500 attack monster that has amazing effects. Now, there is a drawback with this particular archetype. The biggest thing that I want to point out is that it says you can target one light or dark monster in either graveyard. Semicolon. Now, if you guys do not know, semicolons mean activation requirement, meaning that this card isn't like Cyber Dragon or Blackluster Soldier, monsters that can just summon themselves to the side of the field without a response to your opponent. When you activate this monster effect, your opponent has an opportunity to respond. With that being said, not only is DD Crow amazing against tier elements, DD Crow is also amazing against this strategy. And ironically, this strategy is also amazing against this strategy. Imagine using Byssted Magnumut to be able to attempt to summon itself, and then your opponent activates their own Byssted Magnumut to banish your card and summon itself. So it's like, yo, it's a counter to itself, and DD Crow just becomes that amazing of a card. Now, it does have another effect. It says if this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect, add one dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand during the end phase of the turn except for itself. So not only is Magnumut amazing support for the Byssted theme and the Albaz theme, it also adds any dragon monster. So if you are playing a deck like Rocket Dragon Link, imagine being able to add Starliege Seyfert, being able to add Chaos Dragon Leveoneer from your deck to your hand. You can literally add a heavy hitter card for follow-up or a starter card from your deck to your hand. And the best thing is that you can summon it on your opponent's turn, meaning that you'll get it on their end phase, meaning that you'll be able to play it to your side of the field starting your turn. And if not, This card can add Miradora. This card, I remember telling you guys to buy this before it skyrocketed in price. My bad. But this card can actually search a hand trap, which is Miradora, to be able to negate an opponent's card effect. So it's a lot better than what it seems. It's actually a solid Yu-Gi-Oh card. Next is going to be Byssted Saronir. It has the exact same stats as Magnumut, and I apologize if I'm butchering these names. But level 6, Dark, 2500, 2000, same first effect, being able to target and then banish in either graveyard and all that other good stuff. And then its second effect says, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send one Byssted monster except for itself, or one branded spell or trap card from your deck to the graveyard. Now, this card actually gives you a lot of fuel because, as you know, if you aren't playing against a light or dark archetype, you're going to need to be able to put, the appropriate monsters to be able to summon these guys to their side of the field. And Saronir essentially gives you a monster in 2500 attack, 2000 defense, but also when it's sent to the graveyard, it'll be able to replace itself by, putting another Byssted monster in the graveyard so you can summon your other monsters. So I really think that this one's good. And off the top of my head, the only branded spell and trap cards that are continuous right now that we know of is Branded Lost. And that probably wouldn't work with the strategy unless you were playing Despia inside of the strategy, which is not bad because, as you can see, there is some branded dependency from this deck. My apologies. It's just a branded spell or trap card. So yeah, Branded Opening is the only one that would seem to work here because it gives you protection for your fusion monsters. Next is Byssted Druidwurm, exact same stats and the exact same first effect, being able to banish a light and dark from either graveyard, and then it's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster. This card says, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target one opponent's special summon monster, send it to the graveyard. So this card's actually really, really good, and allow me to explain why. On your opponent's turn, inside of their battle phase, they think they're about to attack you for game. Nope. You just summon Byssted Druidwurm to your side of the field, and now your opponent has to go through a decision. More often than not, in order to beat Byssted Druidwurm, they're going to have a special summon monster, and this card can send it to the graveyard. So it's a very interesting monster that doesn't have a proactive effect. I would have loved it to have a more proactive effect like Magnumut, but it seems that these monsters are more reactive than proactive, which isn't necessarily bad if we have other cards to combo with them to make them more proactive. Moving on, we have Byssted Lubellion. This is actually going to break the mold of our first three Byssted monsters being able to use their first and second effects to summon themselves. This one's actually a little different. It's a level 8 dragon light monster with 2500 attack and 3000 defense. But let's actually go back a little bit and talk about the art of these cards. Lubellion or Magnumut looks really, really good. This actually looks like a Dark World monster. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting hella Dark World vibes from Saronir. And then Druidwurm looks kind of like Lubellion, but maybe Druidwurm is Lubellion plus, the Druidwurm. This Lubellion, I don't know. Maybe I'm just saying too much. But basically, what Byssted Lubellion does is that cannot be normal summoned or set, must be special summoned from your hand or graveyard by tributing one level 6 or higher dark dragon monster. Well, I think we have that down packed, especially since we can trigger both of these cards' effects, making it a little more proactive. You can only special summon one Byssted Lubellions once per turn. I love how it has Lubellions, because if there's a way to special summon Lubellion multiple times in a turn, you can do it. This way, you can only use the first and the second effect of this card's name each once per turn. So it's gonna get scary, guys. Normally, when you have a card with this many restrictions, it's either really, really good or really, really bad. You can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, add one Byssted monster from your deck to your hand, except for Lubellion. This card can summon itself from the graveyard, and then it can add a Byssted monster from the... So, what? So you discard this card to add you can even add Druidwurm if you have and then you banish an opponent's light or dark, you summon the Druidwurm, then you summon Lubellion. By getting rid of the Druid, then you get rid of an opponent's special summon monster. What is going on here? Yo, this is actually a ridiculous archetype. What is going on? That is literally a one card combo. If your opponent has a light and dark, you got like infinite disruptions for there. Like you really just played your opponent. Like, it's crazy. During your main phase, you can place one branded continuous spell or trap card from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone. Oh my god, not only does it dodge anti-spell fragrance, that's really good. The Despia strategy has a huge problem with dealing with anti-spell fragrance. This will allow them to get branded lost face up. But I would assume because these cards seem to be focused on the branded archetype, they might have their own branded continuous cards. But man, this card is easily, oh my god, this is probably the secret rare. It searches Bysteeds, which can search another dragon monster, or, you know, send to the graveyard, or send an opponent's special summon monster. It's ridiculous, guys. Next is going to be Byssted Alba Los. And this card actually looks like the Dogmatica monster, not the really big Dogmatica monster. I'm not really big in the lore, but I'm pretty sure you guys can help me out there. It's a dragon monster, level 12, light, 35/35, so this card is chunky. And it says, cannot be normal summoned or set, must be spell summoned from your hand or graveyard by attributing to Bysteed monsters. These two monsters are ridiculously busted, guys. They're dumb. They're dumb. Like, why even? This is an instant 3 of. This is maybe a, I gotta read the effects, but because it could be a 3 of, it could be a 2 of, it could be a 1 of, but this is a 3 of because this is a search card and it's a summon and it gets you another search. This card's instantly a 3, and these might all be 3 ofs too if you are building a Bysteed pure deck. So, while you control this card summoned this way, negate the effects of all ritual, fusion, synchro, exceed, and link monsters on the field. So it's a more factor pain. It's a D barrier. It's like, what? That is ridiculous. It negates everything. Just play effect monsters. That's it. Just play. If you're not playing effect monsters, then this card literally just saps the life out of your strategy. That is ridiculous. And 3,500 attack and defense is not easy to get over, especially when you don't have any monster effects to be able to compensate. If this card leaves, oh my god, it gets, so even if I do get rid of it, it's a problem. If this card leaves the field by an opponent's effect, you can banish all face down cards in each player's extra deck face up until the opponent's in face. What? So first of all, if you summon this card, basically you're telling me that I'm not going to be able to fusion, synchro, exceed, or link while it's on the field. Because even if I do get rid of it, you're just going to banish all face down cards in my extra deck. Like, so I won't be able to use them anyways. This is ridiculous. Like, oh my, this archetype is just busted, guys. Next is going to be Rebranded, our first continuous spell card. And this card says you can only use the first effect of this card name once per turn. You can also only use the second effect of this card name once per chain. Once per chain effect. If a light or dark monster is banished, you can target one of them, place them to the bottom of the deck, and if you do, draw one card. If a light or dark monster, it doesn't say steed. So you're telling me I can put Black Dragon and White Dragon back to my deck? Like, yo. This is like, I feel like dragons might need to get hit on the next Forbidden List because the indirect support that they're getting from this is ridiculous. Like, yo, chaos might be a problem. And then you get to draw a card. So like all of your banished steed monsters that you probably would have never had access to again, no, you get them back and you get a card. Once per turn, when your opponent normal summons or special summon a monster, you can target one Bysteed monster in your graveyard and special summon it. I am so happy that these aren't quick effects. I'm just so happy. Because imagine, yo, look, imagine using Rebranded when your opponent summons a monster to bring out a Druidwurm, right? And then quick effect chaining this to get rid of the Druidwurm to summon himself to the side of the field, right? Then you use Druidwurm to send an opponent's special summon monster to the graveyard. It's ridiculous, guys. This is ridiculous. It's just no. What are we doing? It's still good. It's still good because you could still do this on your turn. But if it were like, if these were quick effects, oh my god, we'd really be in trouble, guys. We really would. And it looks like the last one. Let me look at this card. I don't know who that is. I genuinely don't. I was gonna say it's Damamama, but that can't be. And we know that this is one of the dragons. Okay. This might be the other Albaz dragon, or it could just be Lubellion. Again, I'm not big on the lore. I really wish I was. Now, Branded Beast is a continuous trap card, and this is Fallen Albaz, it seems. All right, looks like you're showing how evil you are. Basically, it says you can only use this card's second effect once per turn. That sounds like it's going to be busted. Once per turn during your main phase, if you control a Byssted monster, you can tribute one dragon monster, target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. So hold on. I can tribute Druidwurm, right? Destroy an opponent's card, then trigger Druidwurm. So I can literally do exactly what I was talking about with Rebranded. Look, whoa, hold on. I can, oh my God. Yo, so my opponent summons a monster, right? I use Rebranded to summon the Druidwurm. Then I use the branded beast to tribute the Druidwurm to destroy a card my opponent controls. It's better than Zodiac Dryad. Zodiac Dryad can only destroy face-ups. This destroys my opponent's cards. Like, it's Virtual World Chuche, except better. Like, what are we doing here? And then this will trigger to send an opponent's special summon card, or this will trigger to get my engine started and send other Byssted cards to the graveyard. Oh my God, this deck is ridiculous. During your end phase, you can target one branded continuous spell or trap card, place it on your field. Well, so I can send it to the graveyard with Saronir, the Rebranded, then place it. Yeah, during the end phase, I can place it with branded beasts. All right, so this deck is ridiculous, guys. The Byssted theme, oh my God. Immediately off the top of my head, I know that Dragon Link gets a huge boost just off of Magnumut and the Lubellion. Then of course the branded strategy just might get 10 times stronger, but I could actually see the Byssted theme, if we get more fleshed out support, being its own thing. Maybe this is actually a little bit too big to be played in the branded engine, as the branded deck already has a very hard time at staying at 40. But I really want you to let me know, what exactly do you think about this theme? I think that the Byssted theme is going to be a tier 1 deck, hands down. It has all of the qualities. It has the ability to interact on your opponent's turn. It has built-in disruption on your opponent's turn, and it is a chaos theme, and that is normally favored by Konami. That's pretty much all that I have for today. Again, let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you guys want to see more videos like this, go ahead and let me know too. Also, if you want to see more TheCaliEffect content, go ahead and check out these videos, as I'll catch you on the next one.